And welcome back to the second episode of Mike and Gabe the Movies. I'm Mike
I'm Gabe.
with a new microphone. And we're going to talk about Oscar nominations a little bit here. And then we're going to talk about film Parasite because I just saw it last night. And
Yeah.
How many times have you seen it now, Gabe?
I can't remember if it's either 7 or 8. I know it is one of those two.
I thought you said like 9 times.
No, I haven't seen it 9. That's too many. It's either 7 or 8. It might be 8. I have to think about that.
We'll stay with 8 because holy shit.
It's a good movie.
It without getting too spoilery for the rest of the podcast, I would agree.
Yeah.
So we figure we talk about a few categories in a certain order. We're gonna
we've laid it out. We're gonna start with editing.
Oh yeah. Which best film editing? Andrew Buckland and Michael McCusker for Ford versus Ferrari, which is how I'm calling it. Just the title. The Irishman, Thelma Schoonmaker. That is a hell of a name.
Thelma Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker. I'm bad with names. When we get into like most of the Parasite related ones,
it is Schoonmaker. Yeah.
Hey,
it's Schoonmaker.
Huh. That's a hell of a name.
Great editor.
Tom Eagles for Jojo Rabbit, Jeff Groff
Yep.
for Joker, and Yang Jin-mo for Parasite.
We're probably going to butcher all of the names for the people who made Parasite, except for Bong Joon-ho.
We're going to butcher every name, I feel.
I tend to be pretty good with names.
Now, I have not seen a ton of movies this year. I've been meaning to, but I've been dealing with being sick and also my work, so I've not seen a ton of these. I've seen Parasite, which, that alone, the editing of that film was fucking amazing. Yeah, I thought it was good.
The editing in all of these movies is pretty good, I think. I think Joker is... Jojo Rabbit has like the most basic editing.
Where
Joker tries to do really complex things with its editing, but they don't normally work out very well for it.
So like
Ferrari is a pretty well edited movie.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I said like there was an attempt for Joker, kind of.
Yeah, they really wanted to go for something big. Thelma Schoonmaker, I guess.
Yes.
She is the one responsible for editing all of Scorsese's movies. Raging Bull, Aviator, Departed, she won for all three of those. Raging Bull is of course
done good jobs.
One of the best edited movies of all time.
It is, I would say.
Easily. And so it's really cool to see her edit a movie again. Like I guess the last one probably would have been Wolf of Wall Street.
Probably, yeah.
Or would it be Hugo?
Wait, did she do? I'll look on her page really quick.
No, it would have been Wolf of Wall Street. I think would have been Silence.
Silence.
Yeah,
Silence was
Scorsese film she edited.
I'm a fan of Silence.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I know a lot of people dislike it. I think it's pretty solid. So it's really crazy to see her up there with like these other people and think like, well, maybe she might not win, when in reality she probably deserves to win. Although the editing in Parasite is really good. There's a lot of really great cuts and sequences that are all put together in montage style.
And it all like it feels we're kind of reviewing it a tiny bit now, but it feels like they're stringing things together in a way where it's like, oh shit, okay, that's clever.
Yeah, for Joker, they kind of try to, where they show little things, and you're like, yeah, maybe you'll figure out what's going on here. But it doesn't really pay off that well because the editing makes it way more blatant than I think it's trying to.
Yeah.
The Irishman is really well edited because it tells this whole coherent story, and you never get bored watching it. Well, you could if you're like, it's not a movie for everyone. I'll say that much. It's way too long.
The runtime is, I believe, 2 hours 59.
No,
I thought it was.
It's 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but the issue is like the only part of The Irishman that I'm not a huge fan of is the last half hour or so.
Yeah.
because it doesn't have to be as drawn out as it is, in my opinion.
Like you could have cut it down a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's still really good and it's still very well done, but at the same time, it's like, okay, Parasite, the only moment that I think the pacing gets weird is towards the very end, like the last 10 minutes of the film. And even then, it doesn't really take away from it because the pacing shifts with how the character dynamics have shifted. And you're kind of like, oh, they're in a new position now. So having the film change pace a little bit kind of makes sense here.
Having it kind of pull the rein back a little and just be like, all right, calming down a tiny bit. Yeah. I would agree.
Overall, I do think that The Irishman or Parasite deserve to win it. I think Jojo Rabbit's a very well edited film too, but it's very kind of standard editing where it's like,
cut to the scene.
It doesn't do anything particularly well.
Yeah, it is
quite well.
Yeah, I would probably say I'm going to put a good bet on Parasite on this one.
I'm going to say it's probably either Parasite or The Irishman. I think both of them have a very good chance. I think Ford versus Ferrari could also win because they tend to give editing to something that is still okay, but isn't, the actual kind of...
The actual winner.
Potential, but it's the most, you can look at it and go, that was a good edited movie, which is, I don't know why that happened with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, that one was embarrassing. So Bohemian Rhapsody was shot versus Richard.
It could be anything.
This is a toss-up. Yeah.
Moving on next.
Yeah. I'll let you give this one.
Moving on next, score. I've heard the scores for all these movies, even though I haven't seen Little Women and 1917 yet. Although I need to watch Little Women.
I've heard Joker's score, but I have not heard Rise of Skywalker's. Yeah.
You've kind of already heard Rise of Skywalker score. It is
it's a John Williams
telling of the same iconic Star Wars score. It's different, but it's still very similar. 1917 is a great score, although I haven't seen the film, so I can't say how it applies to the film. Yeah. Marriage Story, Randy Newman did the score, and you can kind of get that sense of he has a good grasp of grabbing your emotions.
Well, it's Randy Newman.
Exactly. So when you're watching, thankfully he's not singing.
I like his singing.
I mean, yeah, but it's really funny.
Yeah, I can do that.
But when you're watching Marriage Story, the score is really well integrated into the film.
That's good.
You kind of forget that it's there. It's a very subtle score for the most part. It's very kind of it's a piece of the film rather than being a thing that was added to the film.
Yeah.
Little Women's score, Alexandre Desplat is a great musician. He won for Shape of Water.
Ooh.
I guess it's Desplat. I'm bad at some names.
I don't speak French. It's Alexander Desplat for me.
Yeah, it pretty much. I know he did the score for Shape of Water, which is a great good score. I think he won Best Score for Shape of Water.
Rightfully so.
Correctly. Yeah, he did. Also did Isle of Dogs. He did.
Oh fuck! Okay, I like this guy already.
Yeah, he did the score for The Danish Girl. He did the score for The Imitation Game, and even the Godzilla film from 2014. He also won for Grand Budapest Hotel. I do think he has a chance to win the best score.
I'm gonna give based on track record, probably Alexandra.
Yeah, the issue is. And I think I can pronounce this right.
Oh, I want to see.
Hildur Gunnadóttir.
That's better than I could get.
I think that is how you pronounce it.
Thank you, Hilda.
Thank you very much, Hildur. Whose score for Joker is, in my opinion, one of the best parts of the film because it kind of is the thing that holds together the tone of the movie, because the movie can be really inconsistent and can be very all over the place with what it seems to be trying to do.
Yeah. I said yeah. I just was kind of going with you on that.
And so when you're watching it and you're hearing the score and it's kind of these really deep, it kind of the score gets deeper as it goes along. It starts off and it's kind of like a light cello, and as it continues, gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and they add more and more elements to it. and it's a really nice vibe. When I watched it with my friends, it was my third time seeing it, and it was their first time seeing it. One of my buddies essentially turned and said, "So can we all agree that the score is the only thing holding this movie together?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
I'm still excited to see it.
Yeah.
I just got my copy in recently. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it.
Based on like the other scores here, I would say that, and also their track record, like the film's track record for winning score so far, I would say that Joker has a good chance to win it. Although the score for Little Women is beautiful, and the score for Marriage Story, I think, might be the best score of the year, personally, because of how well it kind of blends into the whole tone and feeling of the movie.
Hmm.
But like, there's a lot of great possibilities this year.
Oh yeah,
It's a very good year.
In a lot of categories, it's all kind of a toss-up, where it's like, I don't know exactly who might win what category, you know?
Yeah. One of the trickiest ones is gonna be cinematography.
But before we get into cinematography, I just want to talk really fast about Best Original Song, because there's only one choice for me on what should win, and I think you know what it's going to be. It's going to be I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man.
I think it's gonna win it. It
should.
Probably the best of all of those songs.
It's a song that, after watching the film, I still want to listen to.
Yeah, no, it is a great song. It is a great
But by
it's
the
a
way,
great feeling.
can I just say I do feel that like I just forgot his name. Aaron Tegerton has been kind of been snubbed.
Taron Egerton?
Yeah, Taron Egerton. I can't speak fucking English today.
Don't worry about it, man.
I feel like he's been kind of snubbed, because I actually feel like he was really, really good in that film.
Well, he won the Golden Globe.
I know, but I just feel like more people didn't pay attention to that film, I feel.
Yeah, but the people who did all kind of acknowledge how well he did.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie, and he's not the most accurate Elton John you could ever get, but goddamn, he fucking tries, and he actually sings.
He was selected specifically by Elton John.
I know. I'm impressed with how well he could sing. I didn't think he could
to learn
sing.
How to sing. This was his first time doing any sort of like real singing. He had to learn how to sing for this movie.
He's fucking good at it. He really is. I just wanted to give him a little bit of praise, because Rocket Man is actually a really good film.
I think Rocket Man is a very good film. I really like it.
It's better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my god, it's way better. And considering they were directed
by one was directed by a horrible pedophile for 90% of it.
And then the other guy came in and directed the best parts of that movie.
The Life Aid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went off and was like, I'm going to make Rocket Man as well. So he went off and made Rocket Man, and he was like, yep, that was clearly the guy who did all the good parts of Bohemian Rhapsody.
All the stuff it wasn't shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot, shot, reverse shot.
Dexter Fletcher's also just like a great, like, he's been around for a while, but directing has only become a recent thing. Like, remember he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And,
fuck yes, he was.
He's come so far to direct
Band of Brothers.
And, oh yeah.
He did Sunshine on Leaf as well. I fuck up the name of that one. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, no, he's a very talented guy.
Anyways, sorry. Back to cinematography.
This is a tricky one.
This one is going to be hard, actually, because I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought it was well shot. 1917 looks amazing. Lighthouse is impressive looking from what I've seen. Joker looks well shot. Irishman is well shot. I don't know who could win this one.
It's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be a big, big, big toss-up between, like, probably The Lighthouse, 1917, and The Irishman, probably.
I would agree on that.
Because The Lighthouse does the most kind of innovation.
And it's all within...
That, I mean, it takes a step back.
It's all within essentially a 4:3 aspect ratio.
Smaller.
Oh, smaller?
1.19:1.
Holy shit.
It is... Yeah. 1.19:1 is like 1927, 1929, 1931 kind of era film.
Yeah.
And the fact that they shot it on in black and white, I believe on film, um, using a wonderful, wonderful lens. It really like the whole film, the characters and the acting and the writing is great, and the set design is great. But like the thing that holds it all together is the visuals of it,
Yeah.
and the cinematography plays a huge part in that. And if it doesn't win, it's a crying shame because
It,
that film is beautiful.
I've heard
Um,
by a lot of people that one was like incredibly snubbed.
yeah. Also, shot by a Canadian crew in Canada, so I know like a bunch of my teachers are like, we're Canadian, we gotta support it, and this means nothing to you really.
Yeah, there's one film recently that was shot in my state, which is the wonderful Columbus. I don't know if you've seen Columbus. It's amazing.
I haven't.
Ah, it's great. John Cho also deserved an award for that film, but yeah, it's good, and it was shot.
Oh yeah, I know about this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was shot. It's not my hometown, but it was very close to my hometown. I spent a lot of time in Columbus, and Columbus is a very pretty city.
That's really cool. I really
Ah.
need to watch that.
I recommend it. It's a sweet little film. But the problem is also it was directed, it came out in theaters, and it took so long for who was the distributor for that one? I want to say it was
Distributor the Sundance Institute.
Well, no, the Blu-ray distributor.
Oh yeah.
Hang on here. I can find who it was really quick. They fucked it up, and it took forever. But it was in the UK on DVD for like the longest time. Oh wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, internet. Release. Okay, yeah, it doesn't show who released it. I want to say it was the company that Chronoscope or Cinescope or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'll if you want to continue talking, I'll look it up.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say that the issue with this year is that Roger Deakins is also nominated, and Roger Deakins is, of course, one of the most famous cinematographers of all time,
Oh
and
yeah.
he only recently won his first Oscar for Blade Runner 2049.
Oh wow.
The way he shot 1917 as a quote unquote one shot film, it's a thing that's been done before, but not really for a war film.
Yeah.
And although it has been done before, I feel like The Lighthouse does more with it from what I've seen. And from what I've heard from people, they say the cinematography is great, but they kind of forget about it after a while. Whereas people I know who have seen The Lighthouse got so involved in the visuals of it, they were just like, oh my God, oh my God. The Irishman is a great looking film. It's great, well shot, well directed overall. Joker is a film that has some really great shots in it.
Yeah.
Is it the best of the year? Probably not. Is it terrible? Not at all when it comes to the cinematography. But I do think that The Lighthouse deserves it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, also very well shot, very, very pretty film. However, the production design is one of the things that holds that film together more. So I would say that The Lighthouse for me is my pick. I don't know.
I wouldn't disagree. From everything I've seen from A Lighthouse, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is a really kind of incredible film.
We should probably talk about production design now.
Yeah, talk about production design.
All of these are amazing.
Yeah, the nominees are The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. The Irishman, of course, it's a period piece set through many periods because you see the whole life of this person.
Yeah.
And the production design is great. It's wonderful. Everything I've seen of Jojo Rabbit, the production design is great. It's wonderful. Great film overall. The production design is wonderful. You see the the whole little town they're in, and you see all the costumes and the sets, and they're all great. 1917, from what I've seen, it's pretty standard for a war film. But it is so good that you do kind of get invested in what you're seeing, you know?
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of the best parts of that film is the production design. It looks great. The use of old places that used to be in LA and aren't anymore is a really nice touch.
It's beautiful.
Very, 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 very well done from the production design and the set design. Parasite also has some wonderful production design and wonderful set decoration and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood does more with it, you know?
Oh yeah. I would say that if we're talking based on how the film uses it, it's probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Parasite, actually.
As much as I want Parasite to win because I really like that film,
yeah.
I do think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood deserves it more.
The thing is, they actually built that house, essentially.
In Parasite? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they built the whole house.
That alone, I feel, should probably get it for best production, but...
Yeah, the house is beautiful, actually. It's a wonderful set.
It's amazing, it's well-structured, and it's complex.
It fits the tone of what they're going for there.
God, I can't wait to talk about fucking movie, man.
Oh, we'll get there. We're almost there.
Oh, I know.
I think for me personally, I would love to see Parasite win it, but I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has a really good shot.
It's almost a shoe-in, essentially.
Pretty much.
So we're gonna go to Best Animated Film, which
this is gonna be a brief one.
This is an intriguing category. How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4.
I don't think Toy Story 4 should get it.
I don't think it should, but it probably will.
I don't think it will.
I liked How to Train Your Dragon a lot. I thought it was really sweet. Missing Link was good from what I saw about half of it.
I think Missing Link might get it. It got the Golden Globe, which was a huge surprise over like 3 Disney films.
I thought it was like 4 Disney films.
It was Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, and The Lion King.
Oh, The Lion King. I forgot about that.
Yep, of course you did.
Yeah.
The issue is Klaus has a really wonderful style, but the writing is kind of weird at moments. It's a great movie. Klaus is a great film, but some of the writing is already dated.
I'm gonna.
My Body is great.
I'm gonna say Missing Link probably might get it though because of got the Golden Globe. Yeah.
I think it has a shot.
Ah, man.
I Lost My Body is a big one. It's a great film. Beautifully animated, beautifully shot, I guess.
Yeah.
Everything about it is great. I think it's like the second film ever. No, it's the first animated film to win the a separate grand prize that they've just started at the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh shit.
What was it? Which one was it? Was it like the Nespresso Grand Prize at the Cannes Film Festival, I think?
Huh.
It's the first film to win that. That's animated. It has a great cast in English, which is the one I saw. I am upset that films like Promare or I guess Weathering with You only just came out, so it couldn't be on there. But like, I feel like Studio Trigger put a lot of work into Promare, and I would have loved to see that show up on this list as well. It would have been really nice, you know? That anime. They normally have an anime film, but not this year apparently. Yeah,
this is a year of it's just normal animators and normal animation.
Yeah, and that kind of bums me out.
So next we got the Best Supporting Actress. Kathy Bates is Barbara Jewell. Laura Dern is Nora Fanshawe from Marriage Story. I'm just gonna say the film title. Fuck it. Scarlett Johansson, Jojo Rabbit. Florence Pugh. I always fuck up her name.
Florence Pugh, yeah.
Okay. Little Women and Margot Robbie in Bombshell, which I had not heard of until all the announcements. Yeah.
Until it came out. Yep. They did a terrible job marketing that movie. It's a pretty okay film.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one that seems tricky, but it isn't.
Which one do you think that
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern?
Laura Dern.
I've heard she was very good in Marriage Story.
She's won essentially every Best Supporting Actress award this year for Marriage Story, like for this run. Yeah, she won the Golden Globe for it, and she's won a ton of other awards for this film. She yeah, she's really good in it.
Now,
she's also in Little Women.
They couldn't nominate her twice for the same.
No, they couldn't. I think they put her in for both of them, and they chose Marriage Story because they thought it was better.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, she's really great in that. Scarlett Johansson's great in Jojo Rabbit. It's not her best role, honestly, in my opinion.
She's serviceable from what I've heard.
Margot Robbie is pretty good in Bombshell. I don't think she's anything super special. I know one of my buddies is like, she's the best actress of the year, and I'm like, she did good with what she was given, you know. Kathy Bates is really, really good in Richard Jewell. For me, it's a toss-up between Laura Dern and Kathy Bates, and I'm pretty sure Laura Dern's going to come out on top.
Kathy Bates is always good. Like,
she's pretty much always good.
I fucking love Kathy Bates.
Horror Story, she kind of, you know.
Well, it's also American Horror Story.
Actually, yeah, that's fair.
So best supporting actor now we got Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I've heard he was really, really good in that film.
Yeah, he's really good in it.
Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci for The Irishman, and Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
This one's tricky because there's 2 Irishman nominees.
Yeah, 2, which I was kind of surprised.
No, I'm pretty sure they had 2 at the Golden Globes as well.
I liked Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's the only film out of all of these that I've seen. I've been meaning to watch The Irishman.
It's pretty tricky to sit through, especially because it took you 2 sittings to get through Parasite.
Well, the only reason it took me two settings for Parasite is because I had something come up, and I was like, oh shit, okay.
That's fair.
But Parasite was good.
It's very good. Yeah, no, it's tricky because Brad Pitt won the Golden Globe, which is normally like a kind of thing, you know, you win the
kind of a shoe-in.
You get the next one. But I do think that one of the guys from The Irishman could get it. I think that they both did a great job. I think Anthony Hopkins is really great in The Two Popes, and I think Tom Hanks did a great job in Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I do think Brad Pitt will probably end up winning it. But that's not a like 100%. I believe that it's a pretty good shot. I think
it's a guesstimation.
Yeah, everyone deserves it here in this category. There's no one I'm looking at here going, nah, not really, nah.
I'm gonna say if I had to pick one of these just out of a hat, I'd probably say Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci is very good in The Irishman. However, Al Pacino's Jimmy Hoffa is...
It's probably fucking amazing. Alright, so best actress. We have Cynthia Erivo?
Cynthia Erivo, I think.
Erivo? As Harriet Tubman. Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story. Saoirse Ronan, which I believe is how you pronounce her name.
Saoirse Ronan.
It's all Irish to me. And Little Women, Charlize Theron in Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger in Judy, the Judy Garland film.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Although I do think that Scarlett Johansson's gonna win it for Marriage Story.
I'm pretty sure Marriage Story is gonna be a lock for a good majority of these.
Yeah, she's really good in it. Her and Adam Driver are both really good in Marriage Story.
I'm glad Adam Driver is finally getting more respect because he deserves more respect. I actually really liked him in Girls, and he was the only reason I kept watching Girls for the longest time.
He is probably like the best part of Girls, honestly.
The moment he left, the show died.
I'm trying to remember who won the Golden Globe for Best Actress.
Uh, I'm drawing a blank too.
Oh my goodness. It was Renee Zellweger.
For Judy.
Which I thought was going to happen. I do think that Scarlett Johansson, I think they both did amazing. I think that Scarlett Johansson and Renee Zellweger are definitely the front runners here. I would love for Saoirse Ronan, I would love for Saoirse Ronan to win. Yeah.
I would like for her to win because she deserves more awards in general.
Great.
Yeah.
She's always great. I do think that Scarlett Johansson deserves it. Like, not deserves it. I think that she gave a better performance, although Renee Zellweger's very good in Judy. But I do think Scarlett Johansson deserves it a little bit more.
I'm probably gonna say that as well. From what I've heard about Marriage Story, I need to. I'm a film reviewer, and I haven't even watched 90% of films.
Yeah.
I need to work on that. I've got some of the screeners. I've actually bought a couple from eBay.
You'll get better at it over time.
But I'm probably gonna say Scarlett Johansson's probably a lock.
Yeah, I think so. Personally, I would love for that to be the case, and I do hope that she wins for it. Even if she's not everyone's favorite person, she did an amazing job in Marriage Story.
Now, Best Actor. We got Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, which I had never heard of.
It's really good, and he is great in it. He is phenomenal in it, actually.
That's good to hear. Leo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver for Marriage Story. Sorry.
Nah, it's just sorry. Finish.
I liked him as Rick Dalton. I'm not gonna lie.
But he's barely the main character.
It's
Brad Pitt's movie.
It is. It should be swapped. But I feel like if it wasn't swapped, I'm pretty sure that Leo would have won Best Supporting.
Probably, yeah.
Because Rick Dalton is an interesting character.
Yeah. Anyways.
You're good. Adam Driver for Marriage Story. Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix as Joker in The Joker. And Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes.
This is a tricky one.
Because
most of these people gave incredible performances.
I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, from everyone I've heard, is essentially held together a film.
He's gonna win it.
Joaquin Phoenix winning is the safe bet.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people, especially in our Discord that we're part of.
Yeah.
A lot of people want Joaquin Phoenix, and they don't want Adam Driver to win. Which is
I like them both a lot.
Adam Driver gave a better performance. I think Adam Driver's performance in Marriage Story was better than Joaquin Phoenix's in Joker, and a lot of people get mad at me for when I say that because they say that Joker is like the best movie and Joaquin Phoenix did the best job of any actor ever.
I'm pretty sure Joaquin Phoenix will probably go down as the most interesting Joker, at the very least. When it comes to humanity and depth, yeah, you know where I'm going from. It's an interesting take on the character.
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes, he's really good in it. He is.
Everybody picked a very tough year to make good films.
Yeah, there's so many good movies this year.
There are so many films. Well, like 2018, I don't know if you disagree with me here. 2018 was fucking boring.
2018 was a boring and bland year for movies, in my opinion.
You had a couple successes, is what I call them. Where like you've got Black Klansman. Infinity War was an intriguing superhero film, but outside of certain films, it was all over the place.
Like, don't forget that the films we ended up with at the Oscars were Green Book.
Green Book won, didn't it?
The Favorite, Roma, A Star Is Born, Vice, and
Roma wasn't bad. Bad.
No, here's the thing: Roma and The Favorite and Black Klansman, all great movies. A Star Is Born is really solid. I think The Favorite and Roma are the best films of that year.
Yeah.
That I saw. Off the top of my head, I'm probably forgetting a big one, and I'm gonna go, "Oh my god, I forgot about that one." But like Green Book was a movie that was made for people to go, "I like this movie."
Green Book was Oscar bait. It wasn't bad film, but it was Oscar bait.
You can say that a million times over, and I will never stop agreeing with you.
Especially when there were better films that should have won Best Picture, like Roma or The Favorite, or...
I think that Roma deserved it more, even though it won Best Foreign Film. Here's the thing. This year, if people aren't stupid, we can see history be made. And I'll explain that in a minute.
Oh, we'll get to it, yeah.
But Best Actor, I do think... honestly, I think Antonio Banderas or Adam Driver, I would love to win. Specifically, Adam Driver. Joaquin Phoenix deserves it. He's gonna get it. If he doesn't get it, I would be
surprised.
I will be so shocked. Because he does deserve it, and he put a lot of work into it, and he tried really, really hard, and he's one of the only things that is him and the score that hold that movie together.
Now, here's the thing. Has Joaquin Phoenix won?
An Oscar?
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Okay, I'm looking here. He's been nominated.
He's been nominated 5 times, I think.
Yep. I have a feeling that he's going to win it. That's the safe...
They're going to give it to him, yeah.
That's the safe lock.
No, he won for Walk the Line.
He did? Oh yeah, he did. Fuck. Okay, I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
No. He won the Golden Globe.
Okay, he should have won for Walk the Line. Walk the Line was fucking great.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't win for any of them.
Oh, he should have won for that one. Jesus.
I think that's one a lot of people agree with, is that he should have won for Walk the Line.
That was a fucking snub.
James Mangold movie.
Yay! Yeah, James Mangold fucking kills it.
Most of the time, yeah.
Oh, man.
The issue is that people this year are just going, he's going to win it, because he's going to win it. No one else deserves it. No one else comes close to him. And that's not a fair argument, I think, because quite seriously, Adam Driver did phenomenal. He was so... I know people who hate Adam Driver, and they sat down and they watched Marriage Story, and by the end of it, they said they loved Adam Driver because they loved his performance, and they thought he did such a good job with it.
All right. Oh man, I'm
tricky. It's tricky.
Do you want to go to Best Director now?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Adam Driver, but Joaquin Phoenix is gonna win it.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much with you there from what I've seen. It's a safe lock. Alright, so, Best Director. We got Marty Scorsese for The Irishman. We got Todd Phillips for Joker. We got Sam Mendes for 1917. Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Yeah, this is a tricky one.
This is going to be one of the tougher ones.
Could easily go to Bong Joon-ho, could easily go to Tarantino, could easily go to Sam Mendes, could easily go to Martin Scorsese. I don't think it's going to go to Todd Phillips.
I don't think it's going to go to Todd Phillips either.
Now, I think that Parasite deserves it.
Parasite, I think, is 100% deserving.
But Sam Mendes will probably get it for 1917. He's won most major awards for director. He even tied with Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, shit.
For Best Director. I can't remember what award that was. So, like, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be a very, very close race here. Whoever gets it is going to be, like, one or the other, I think. Probably some other people will come in and say, like, yeah, it's great, but...
I'm gonna put my money on Bong Joon-ho.
I want to put my money on him too. I think I'm going to.
And then we have
a really good shot though.
We have Best Picture, which like
give it to Parasite.
Best Picture. Why did the last few years have not had this many Best Picture nominees?
I think they moved it from 8 to 10 this year.
Yeah, actually, I think so.
I think this year they increased it by 2, because there were so many.
Yeah, we got Ford v Ferrari, Ford versus Ferrari. We got The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Parasite.
I want it. I want this to go to Parasite. Parasite totally deserves it. Parasite is a phenomenal movie.
It's in so many different aspects. It's phenomenal. It's smart. It's well designed.
Very well designed.
Every bit of it is like a moving piece that just keeps going to the next big thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it never stops. It sometimes will go slow. It'll take a pace, but it never feels like some movies that I've seen in the last few years where it's just like, okay, and now this thing happens, and then nothing.
No, it keeps going and going and going in a way that you don't get tired of. You're just like, hell yeah.
And in a way, every single part of it leads to another part. Like there's no wasted moment.
So the two winners for Best Motion Picture were 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at the Golden Globes.
Oh yeah, that's because they didn't have. They only had Parasite in Best Foreign Film.
Yes, I feel like if they had Parasite in Best Musical or Comedy, it would have won.
Now here's a question: did it win Best Foreign?
Yes, it won Best Foreign Film.
Okay, it should have. It should have been nominated in like one of the Best Picture nominations.
And here's what I was getting at before when I said that this year we could see history be made.
Yeah.
And that's that Parasite has the chance to win both Best Feature Film International and Best Feature Film.
Ooh, you're right.
It has a chance to. Roma was the last one that had a really good chance to. Pain and Glory is also in Best Feature, Best International. I feel like a telltale sign of what's going to happen will be if Pain and Glory wins Best International.
So
if that wins Best International, I would say that Parasite might win Best Picture. Because I feel like they would try not to give them to the same film.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that.
I feel like if that happens, that's a good sign. Or it's a terrible sign and Parasite won't win either of them.
If Parasite doesn't win anything, I will be one, surprised, and two, fucking pissed off.
Yeah. Something.
I don't know. The only other one I feel like that might win, like if Parasite does not win, I have a feeling The Irishman probably will get the W. That's how I feel on it.
I think it's got a shot, yeah. Thing is,
yeah,
I want to just briefly before we move on talk about this, and it's that the film with the most nominations this year. Do you know what film that is?
I think it's Joker.
It is Joker with 11 nominations.
I would say in some aspects it deserves it.
Some, not 11.
Yeah.
I think it maybe deserves like the 5 or 6 that it really deserves, you know?
It should be there with like Jojo Rabbit, Little Women in the 6 category.
Little Women, Parasite, Marriage Story, and Jojo Rabbit all have 6. If it was around there, I'd be like, that's fair. If The Irishman had 10, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. If Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had 10, I'd be like, yeah, sure. I think it's ridiculous that Joker has 11, honestly. Even though it probably won't win most of them, you know?
Yeah, I'd say it's going to win at least half.
I think it might win 3. 3 tops.
3?
I think 5 is too many.
I am excited, though, because all the best the original music nominees are going to be performing.
Yep, all of them. Even Randy Newman.
Oh, yeah. I'm intrigued on how that's going to go, actually, because I want to hear all of them. I want to hear all of them sing.
Yeah, a lot of them are very different songs as well. And finally, we have the honorary awards and stuff.
Oh yeah,
of course. Wesley Studi, who's an actor, he's in Dances with Wolves, Last Mohicans, a couple other films. He's getting the honorary award.
Ooh.
I think her name is Lena Wertmüller.
That's a hell of a name.
I believe so. I think it's Wertmüller. She's a director and a writer. She's an Italian director writer. very, very talented, and of course David Lynch,
Ah, yes.
one of my favorite directors. Gets his
He
award. He finally gets his Oscar.
he deserved it a lot sooner. He deserved awards
Many
for
of them.
he deserved awards for Twin Peaks: A Return.
Oh yeah, easily. He deserved awards for The Elephant Man. They made an Oscar category because of that movie.
Oh,
Hairstyling and makeup was not a thing until after The Elephant Man because people were so mad that The Elephant Man didn't win anything.
it's he's deserved so much, and it's bullshit that he has not gotten half of what he deserves from the Academy.
Yep. Pretty much.
Speaking of, by the way, when the fuck is the fourth season of Twin Peaks going to happen?
He was talking about. He was saying like, it could be a thing. He's not sure yet. They're working on it. It's tricky because so many of the actors have passed now.
True. But they did a lot with new characters, so I feel.
They did. Yeah, and a lot of the new characters are really, really fun or interesting.
It's a shame that some of them died like right after the show. Like I think Miguel Ferrer, he was in a few episodes.
He was in season 3 and he died.
Yep.
I think he died after they finished shooting.
Oh yeah, and then Log Lady passed away. I think right in the middle of production.
Right when they were shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. All that's depressing.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we get more Twin Peaks. I would love more Twin Peaks. I'm a huge fan of Twin Peaks.
I'm just there needs to be more. I'm sad that Michael Anderson didn't reprise his role because of all the shit.
The new hand is pretty interesting too.
I don't disagree with you on that. Anyways, we should
move on to the meat.
Yes. Parasite. I figure I'll let you introduce it. You've seen this film more than I have.
So Parasite is a okay, I'll just do this the normal way. Parasite is a film from 2019. It is a dark comedy. It's also a thriller, and it was directed by Bong Joon-ho, and he wrote it with another person named Han Jin-woo, sorry.
We're gonna fuck up so many names, people.
Han Jin-won. The cinematography was by Hong Kyung-pyo, I believe is how you pronounce the name. I like I said before, I'm gonna butcher all these names, and the fact that I'm doing it as if I'm trying to emulate actually saying their names in some sort of way is probably offensive. I don't know.
You're fine. So yes,
this is a great film.
Yeah. Bong Joon-ho previously directed, Memories of Murder, Barking Dogs Never Bite, The Host, which was my first film I saw of his, Mother, Snowpiercer, Okja, a very, very talented director.
Incredibly talented person. Incredibly talented man. He's done so much in so many different genres. And one of the reasons that I think this works so well, this Parasite specifically works so well, is because he combines elements of the genres that he's done before.
In a lot of ways, even you can see a little bit of a Host in there.
Little bit of that kind of horror element.
Especially at one point in the film.
Yeah, without the monster movie.
Well, a different kind of monster.
Well, yeah, you could say that. But it takes like the comedy almost from Okja that's in there so much. It takes the elements of, the family stuff and, class from Snowpiercer. It takes a bunch of things from all over the place. The film, I described it to my friends by trying to explain all the different types of film that it is, and they always go, okay, stop. I don't need to hear this. I'm already sold on this movie. And I'm like, yeah, you are. And it helps that he has such a good cast behind him. He's got the father of the main family, Song Kang-ho, who is in Snowpiercer, and I think also in The Host and Memories of Murder.
I think he is in The Host, yeah.
He's wonderful in this movie. You have I think his name is Choi Woo-shik. He's a Korean Canadian actor. He's in Train to Busan as well as this.
Yes.
He's very good in this film. He's probably my favorite actor in Parasite. I think he's incredible in it.
He's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, he is. He can emote so well. It's just constant, like hell yeah. The daughter, who I don't actually know if she's been in anything major, but she kills it. The lead female daughter,
Jessica. We'll just call her Jessica.
Jessica. Yeah, I think she's
Um,
wonderful.
she's been in a lot of like Korean films, which when you see her without, because that was a wig that she was wearing, I think, for the film. She looks completely different without it.
That was a wig.
I think it was.
It looks real.
It looks pretty fucking solid. Oh no, that is her natural hair, actually.
I was gonna say,
Well,
that'd be a lot.
but I'd say she's great in the film.
Oh, they all are. Everyone in this movie does a great job. Even like the really young kid. He must be like what, like
Like 3 or 4, like I don't say like 4 or 5.
like three. I'd say like 6. Like the actor's probably like 6 or 7. He's probably playing like a 5-year-old, I think.
Yeah,
Um, does a great job. All of them do, and it's great. It's cool to see that. He's 8.
yeah.
He's 8. That's crazy. And it's a film that can balance so many great characters and so many great sets and locations and so many interesting concepts and such great writing and directing and cinematography all together. And it's no surprise that it's like the top of everyone's best of the year list for 2019.
It's it's a very lovingly crafted film. Like
Yeah, you can see the care.
it feels like someone, well, like he had an idea and he was like, all right, work it back, and just kind of string everything together. All of it feels deliberate.
There's nothing in it that I went like, was that a mistake or was that just like an oversight? Everything I saw in the movie, I was like, no, yeah, I believe that this is here for a reason. There probably are some mistakes. There probably are some oversights. There's probably some inconsistencies, some continuity issues. But I'm watching it and I'm just going like, yeah, it's a great movie. Pretty awesome movie. You
It's
know it's a good movie when RogerEbert.com has like I think like 3 critics give it the #1 spot, as well as Rotten Tomatoes and IGN and Polygon and Mashable and Vox and the Globe and Mail, and on top of that you get Watch Mojo.
yeah.
You get all of these different groups that all have such varying opinions, and one of which is awful, aka Watch Mojo. And you're just sitting there and they all agree that this movie is great. It's a really good sign.
Yeah, this film has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is literally one of the highest rated films I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, no, it has a 96% on Metacritic with a 9.37 out of 10 and 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Because Rotten Tomatoes, of course, does the percentage rating, but also the score that not many people look at.
Yeah.
So for the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 9.37 out of 10 with a 99%, making it, I think, the second or third highest rated movie of all time on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is fucking insane.
But it's a great movie. And the audience score is 93% with a score of 4.6 out of 5. So like everyone agrees that this movie is great. You know, it's not like a thing to be like, yeah, it's a great movie. No one's gonna go like, oh, you hipster, you loser.
This isn't a trendy thing. This film's actually this fucking amazing.
It is, and when I went into it, I kept seeing all these incredible reviews saying like this movie's amazing, it's gonna blow your mind, you're gonna love it, and I was like, no, I'm not, and I've seen it 8 times. Because I watched it and I thought this movie really is great. And then I went on to the IMDb top 250 movies of all time, and I saw that it was 8 spots below Joker, which was like the 20th highest rated movie of all time on IMDb. And I went, oh no. Oh no.
But yeah, there was like the good thing about this film, there was a total like there was a bidding war for this film because it was so good. To get international rights for it. It's blown out. And this is one of the best, I think, highest earning Korean films of all time as well.
Yeah, I think it might be I know it earned 11 million. I had a budget of $11 million
Yeah,
US, and it
which
earned 160 million.
this film looks like it's shot on $100-some-odd million.
This film is so good looking. You forget that it doesn't have a comparatively big budget. Even though there are very few locations, they still had to build an entire house for it, you know?
Oh yeah, that house
Um,
does not look cheap either.
no, the house looks like an actual several $1 million mansion because it probably
That's probably where
into
the
one.
budget went to. It's shot in a way, like the house is shot in a way that just looks like it looks like
It makes you want to live there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's sorry, go on.
It also like this film is so satisfying.
Oh
At the
yeah,
end of the film, you're not gonna feel disappointed. You're gonna go, oh, yep, sure, yep, definitely, yep.
it
That was
makes
great.
you want to spend more time in the world though in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you do kind of want to stick around. You want to see more of these characters because they're great characters and they're a lot of fun. I am so shocked that we have gone this entire time without mentioning anything remotely spoilery.
Well, we're gonna mention one thing really quick because I want to hear what you feel about this. But
Yeah, but just like just quick, we'll put a warning. We'll
oh yeah,
say, come back after you've seen the film.
I
At this time.
yeah, if you haven't seen this film yet, please stop what you're doing. Stop listening to us ramble. We've talked about it a lot. Do yourself a favor and watch this film. I don't care.
You won't regret it.
I don't care what you have to do. Watch the film. It's amazing.
I know it's you can like
Yeah.
I know you can go on to Amazon and pay and you can buy
I think you rent it.
$15.
Yeah.
You can buy it on their streaming service
Yep.
full purchase for $15, which is not bad.
Tell you what, do you want to give our like are we doing like a thumbs up rating kind of thing?
I'm going to give probably a thumbs up and a number score.
All right, well, we'll say 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10 on my end.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy film for me. Just for context, a lot of people think 10 out of 10 and say that movie's perfect. That's not the case. There's no such thing as the perfect film, right?
Yeah. It's essentially a high regard.
For me, it's like 8 out of 10 is like 5 out of 10 is average. 6, 7 out of 10 is above average to good. 8 out of 10 is great. 9 out of 10 is like awesome. 10 out of 10 is a movie that I'm probably going to rewatch over and over again and I'm not going to forget.
For an example, Akira to me is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's
totally.
That's a film I can set down and I can watch like 10 times in a row and still feel like I find something new and I learn more about it, you know?
Yeah. Totally. And for this film, it's a 10 out of 10. It's easy 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10, like near masterpiece if I've ever seen one, because if I can see a film 8 times and still enjoy it as much as the first time I saw it,
That's a good sign.
that's an amazing sign. And I don't necessarily like a lot of movies.
I do want to talk about, before we get into our spoilers, there was an announcement recently by HBO.
Oh.
I'm kind of intrigued. I'm kind of intrigued. With Bong Joon-ho and Adam McKay, who, if you've seen Vice and was a Big Short.
Big Short.
Yeah.
Also like Talladega Nights and a bunch of other movies.
I like Talladega Nights as a cheesy film.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
But they're adapting and producing a series which is also going to be titled Parasite, that will explore stories that happen in between the sequences of a film. So I mean, it's intriguing. I'm nervous and terrified, but it's intriguing.
I want it to be something good, but the one thing that my buddies and I all agreed on after we watched the movie was they never need to remake this film or adapt it in any way.
Yeah.
This film does not need to be adapted or remade.
Because see, they're doing this they're doing a Snowpiercer adaptation on TNT, which I think could be
been given a second season.
So. That already has? Holy shit! I hope it's good because the idea makes sense of being able to tell more of that story in that world.
I hope it's good too.
But I feel like personally, Parasite is already as like I got everything I needed from the film.
Yeah, I don't. If they make it a remake,
if they make it a remake, that would be bad.
The issue is that this film,
yeah,
there's a lot of pieces to it that really work because of the context of what it's like in South Korea. If I'm looking at this film, I don't personally know, but I'm watching it and I'm assuming that Bong Joon-ho, a man who is very lovingly crafted this great movie, is putting a lot of things in here that really represent the state of South Korea. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm hoping. And from everything I've read, it's what he did.
Adapting this series as an American film does not work. It can't work. It fundamentally cannot work.
It has to be a movie that will not just be the same thing again.
I'm hoping the series just tries to explain the world around the people, because there's some stories you can tell.
Yeah, but it's just kind of the world. It's just kind of like our world, just a different version.
It's a little hyper, like a hyper version, but it's still like you can conceive of everything can conceivably happen in modern day.
Yeah.
I just
is I'm kind of thinking of this film like a remake of an anime.
Yeah.
Something from a foreign property that applies specifically to where it comes from, and you take it somewhere else and it's like, well, this doesn't apply anymore. It's kind of what they tried to do with the Death Note movie, where they were like, it's not just the same thing again. It's different because America is completely different from how Japan works when it comes to schools or the kind of environments that people are in, And it didn't work out very well because it's not a great movie, but it at least tried.
Yeah, the idea is there. The idea of saying, hey, taking this character and these concepts into like just straight up Control-C, Control-Ving into America won't work.
Yeah.
The problem is Parasite works a lot because these people, ironically, are kind of parasites. It fits with the title.
Honestly, yeah, a little bit. There's a thing. Speaking of adaptations, there's another thing coming, and it's they're making a TV show out of one of my favorite anime.
Is it the Steins Gate?
It is a Steins Gate TV show.
See, that idea could work.
The thing is, it's not Japan exclusive. It's not one of those things where it's like it can only work in Japan.
Like Steins Gate could conceivably work in an American setting.
Tweak things a little bit, twist them around, and you can make it work.
The problem is some people, like, you can't please everybody all the time, but
you can try.
Yeah.
You can actually try to make something that is faithful and good, and like, once again, Death Note, they changed a lot of pieces of it, but Ryuk was
the best thing about that film.
Ryuk, but different, but it still worked because you could still tell that what they were doing was trying to emulate kind of the vibe of Ryuk rather than recreating the character of Ryuk,
Oh yeah, I've not seen the Death Note anime. That is my one. Everyone I know is like, you haven't seen that anime?
Watch the first season. Don't watch the second season. It's not worth it.
Oh, is this a Tokyo Ghoul situation?
No, because even the first season of Tokyo Ghoul is very, very flawed. A lot of people say that Death Note is like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's like a near perfect show, but they seem to overlook the second season every time they say that. I go, what about the second season? And they go, what do you mean second season? And I go, when they introduce some new characters and they go, oh, I thought that was just part of the first season. I just kind of ignore that and say it's a 10 out of 10. And I'm like, well, there's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be kind of an issue.
A better show as well. I think Steins Gate is an easy 10 out of 10 series.
Yeah.
It's consistent and it's good.
and it doesn't fall apart halfway
It
through.
does not. I feel like halfway through it gets better.
Now, I'll say this because we're about to get into deeper spoilers here.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Parasite.
Talking about the early part of a film, I love just how you can kind of understand them as people just from the first scene of a film.
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as you meet them, you're like, oh, okay, I know all these characters.
It's a great and simple way to introduce to the audience these kind of people and the kind of things they're willing to do.
Pretty much, yeah. You get to see how desperate they are, if they really are desperate, or the things they're trying to attempt, if they aren't actually, and they're just like, I just want to get something done. You know,
Oh yeah,
you gotta figure it out. You gotta see for yourself. You know,
it's smartly crafted, which for everyone, we're gonna probably get into spoilers now because there's a lot we gotta essentially can talk about, but only in spoilers. So if you haven't seen a film, this is like point of no return. All right, so where do you want to start on spoilers?
well, you said you had something to say, so
Well, can we talk about how one of the most interesting fight scenes in film happened in an underground basement? Or an underground bunker.
Yep.
That was so well shot.
Yep, it's very well done. It is a great sequence. It is wonderful to watch, and it is thoroughly the whole time you're going, no, 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 no,
It's
no, no, no.
it's one of the most desperate struggles I've seen for a fight scene, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
And the thing is, it's not like people hear fight scene and they're like it's an action sequence. It's technically an action sequence.
Yeah.
It's technically a fight scene, but more than anything, it's just a moment of like, please God, no.
It's a moment
no,
of panic
no.
and struggle.
Exactly. And because of that, you're like, hell yeah, I'm being drawn into this, and then I hate it because I don't want to be drawn into this. This is bad and awful.
And then when the sun essentially like almost gets away and then tugs back, I was like, oh fuck, but he's still gonna get away. And then the fucking rock comes back into play. That's for a later scene.
Yeah, the rock is used as a great little running motif and stuff. It's a piece of the world, you know?
Oh yeah, it's a character of its own in a way.
Yeah, it really is. And by the end of the film, you kind of understand why it's there, even though you don't need to have like a direct meaning behind it, you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's such a well crafted film.
It really is. It is masterful in essentially every way. There's a few sequences like the sequence that scares me most is easily when they're telling the story of the son seeing the quote unquote ghost on his birthday, and you see the wife sitting and she's describing this cake that her son was eating, and you see the fridge door open behind her and the camera kind of turns a little bit and you see the cake that she's describing on the ground, even though this has been a shot that has not cut.
Oh yeah,
You see the camera just move and you see this cake on the ground, the fridge opens, and then it cuts to the son sitting there eating the cake, and you see this shot of this head just rising through this dark staircase, and all you see are these eyes just staring straight ahead, and it's horrifying, but it's
it's
so pretty.
it's well shot. This whole film is a masterclass in just like
Make a good movie.
Filmmaking without it doesn't feel pretentious.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't ever. You're sitting there going, "Oh, this guy preaching to me about class and why classism is bad. Ugh, what a piece of garbage this guy is."
It's subtle, and in some moments the film is like the sweetest. Like it's sweet as shit in some moments, and then other moments it's just like, oh fuck.
There is a lot of moments of just like genuine human pathos.
A lot of it comes, I think, right at the end too. Like
the end sequence, I know, has made quite a few people I know cry.
It made me tear up. It made me tear up
because it really taps into something people think about, but they kind of ignore.
Oh yeah,
And I'm not gonna say more than that because
Oh,
even though we are spoiling
yeah,
this, we're gonna keep it as vague as we can.
we're gonna try to keep. Would you say the last like 15 minutes just completely unspoiled?
Yeah, no, don't spoil those last 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes total if you want to include the bit at the end where like
Yeah.
everything starts to happen.
We'll say that there is a moment that it turns into a completely different film, not in a bad way.
No, in a very good way. It
Where
catches you and you go, "Oh my god, wait, we're in this movie now? What?"
this film does that a few times.
Well, yeah, because it does kind of turn into almost like a heist movie kind of vibe at one point.
It
We have to make this plan, we have to execute it perfectly, and here's how we're gonna do it.
it goes from a heist film to like a thriller to an action film to a horror film. Yeah.
To an action film to a family drama,
And then to
comedic elements.
And then to a really, really sweet, I'd say even a wholesome film at the end.
By the end of the film, you have this vibe of like you don't necessarily know where these characters have ended up completely. You're looking at them kind of going like, well, have they really changed? Have they really progressed? It's like the things they've been through have caused things to happen, but are they really all that different?
Yeah.
And the movie kind of lets you decide like, has this made a difference? Are their intentions better than they once were? Are these people still craving something that they need or that they want because they think that they'll need it? Or are they really trying to achieve something because they are so poor and they're living such a terrible life?
It feels like there's a good desperate struggle for one thing throughout the majority of the film.
Totally.
And to the detriment of themselves as well, which
yeah, it's a movie about what greed can do.
Yeah.
On both sides of someone who has something and someone who wants something. It's both elements of that.
Some people are too essentially they're too ungrateful and can't connect for some people, and some people are desperate for what those people have.
Even though they don't know that it might risk them disconnecting from those around them and kind of losing themselves in this wealth that they crave.
It puts all of them at risk of something that they don't realize they don't want.
Yep, pretty much.
Which is a very good message. You know?
Yeah, and it's done well enough that it doesn't seem preachy. It doesn't seem gross. It doesn't seem overdone. You know?
It feels wonderfully for a film recently, because I've seen a lot of films that are preachy as shit. It never feels like it's talking. Oh god, no. Speaking of the Linkara film, me and Gabe here, along with our friend Claw, Deadwing Dork, watched.
And, Darkbreaker Zach.
Oh yeah, Zach was there too. We watched a film that made me sick for 2 days. I felt like throwing up after watching that film, man. Well, one day we'll review the Linkara film on podcast and just shit all over it. Kind of like we did with our first episode with The Fanatic. Kind of just...
Dude, that's not even the same show anymore. That was a completely different beast.
That was a whole different episode. It's still episode 1 for us, I'd say.
Oh, totally.
That's something we'll do on occasion, like a full breakdown of a film.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film is a masterclass, and I think almost every way when it comes to like storytelling, shot composition, especially. Jesus.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's crazy because when we talked about The Fanatic, we said this film is a masterclass. And now we're talking about Parasite and saying this film is a masterclass. So how is anyone supposed to take it seriously?
Okay. This in a different way.
Yeah, totally different way.
The Fanatic is a masterclass in how to have a misguided mistake of a film with some good aspects. Yeah. Parasite is a masterclass in having a vision and having a plan that actually, like, you make a film around and it works. This is Bong Joon-ho's vision.
And you can always see him behind the camera making the right choice.
Exactly. He
Well,
he fucking killed it.
yeah, he really did.
If he is not a director for everyone to be looking at and trying to even attempt to come close right now, then I feel misguided. You know,
Yeah.
I've been a fan of his since The Host, which I got really lucky and I decided to pick it out of a was it movie gallery? Yeah, movie gallery at the time. I picked it out of a movie gallery because the cover was cool, and I ended up loving it and went back through his catalog and have ever since watched pretty much every one of his films. This is his best.
Yeah, it definitely is his best film.
I was blown away.
And I was waiting for you to be blown away. I was sitting here going, yep, you're going to be blown away. Yep.
Should we tell the
Watch it.
Should we tell the story of how I've had this film on my computer hard drive?
3 months?
4.
Oh my god.
I finally got a chance to sit down and watch it, and I fucking love it. It's amazing.
Pretty much. It's amazing. That's the only way that this film gets me so hard that I just like that came out wrong. This film
Well, I know what you mean.
makes me feel such a way that I just like can't describe it as anything less than amazing.
It hits you. It hits you at the core. Like,
yeah, in a bunch of different ways at a bunch of different times.
I don't know how to describe it other than it might be one of my favorite films I've seen of the last decade.
Yeah, I think it might be for me.
I need to go through and really sit down and make the list of like my top 10 of the last 10 years. But at the very least of 2019, it's the best film I've seen of 2019.
Yeah. I've got my list. We can talk about that next time.
We can talk about it probably at the end of this if you want, just like a quick rundown.
I think we should run it down, and you should make yours, then we can compare our lists.
All right. So is there anything else you want to talk about on this one? Because
I don't know, man. We've covered a lot.
It's pretty much like I don't know how to describe it other than just it deserves the awards it's getting. It deserves the acclaim it's getting. It's not a flavor of the month type film like The Artist.
No, I think a lot of people forgot about The Artist pretty quickly.
Yeah, the thing is, I own it. I like The Artist. Yeah, but it just everyone kind of propped it up, and it's fine, but it should not have been propped up as much as it was. I think it won Best Picture when it came out. I'm actually gonna look that up.
It's not the same. It's not that kind of film. It's much more of its own thing.
Well, I wanted to present that as like essentially the best way to describe like a flavor of a month type film because I don't want people to think that this is one of those films.
No, it's more than that.
It's well made. It's well designed. Its structure is something that I don't think has been seen in a film. Like as done as well in a film in a long time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it like everything for Bong Joon-ho has gotten better and better and better with time. So I just want to see if the fuck his next film is going to be.
We don't know, and I'm ready to wait as long as necessary to find out. You know.
I mean, I was one of those ones. I really, really, really liked Okja, and I know a lot of people that didn't like Okja.
I don't know anyone who didn't like it. I just know people who said it wasn't his best work.
I knew people. I had a couple friends who were like, I don't like this movie. It's too like whimsical. I'm like, it's a little whimsical, but I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this is. And for any auteur director, this is what you should be looking at because you can tell that this is his vision. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
you can tell that every single thing that he like, everything about the film is something that he pictured, and I mean, I don't know if it's entirely how he did it, but you know what I mean. It feels like something, yeah. It feels personal.
Yeah.
Which, it's a rarity in Hollywood. It's a rarity in big budget films to feel like, I consider it a big budget film because it does not look cheap. It does not look like
$11 million budget.
Oh yeah,
that's still pretty sizable.
It feels amazing to watch this film, and then just by the end of it, you do feel emotionally drained a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
It's a bit of a roller coaster, but
in a bunch of different ways.
But I would be denying myself and everyone here if I didn't say that it blew me the fuck away.
Yeah, I've already said it blew me away. Every time I watch it, it still blows me away.
I'm ready to watch it again soon.
Oh yeah, no, you bet. Yeah, no,
that's
that you can continue to rewatch.
Yeah, I know for the next podcast, I have a couple films that I'm planning on watching this week, or these next couple weeks, so we can kind of hit like more than just like one big film. But I actually have the big film that I plan on talking about next episode. Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah, I have that on my computer. I haven't seen it yet.
I actually bought the Blu-ray because I'm a big fan of the View Askew universe. I like the films in that world, and I missed the Roadshow when it was close to me, and I decided to pick up a Blu-ray, and I figured we'd talk about that and some of the other big nominees, because I actually had the screeners for those, because I bought them on eBay.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Did you know that eBay, like, a ton of the screeners get just put on eBay after the award season?
No, tons of them. Tons.
Like, there was a Parasite screener, but it was over, like, $35, and I was like, man, I would, but that's too much money.
Yeah, it is. $35 for a screener is a lot.
For some of them, though, like the TV shows from like Amazon and Netflix, it's the only way to get them. Essentially, you have... Yeah, they haven't put... I don't think they put Daredevil or any of those on screeners, but I have the Daredevil screeners.
Huh.
It's a hell of a thing on there. But I feel like we should probably wrap this up for the night.
Yeah.
So you've been Gabe.
I have been Gabe. Twitter at Gabe Please, Gabe PLS, GABEPLS. This was another really fun one. We discussed quite a lot, actually.
Oh yeah. Thanks to the Oscars for giving us content.
Oh yeah, thank you, Oscars.
It's probably going to be more... That section was probably more entertaining than the Oscars on live will actually be, like on TV. But they don't have a host. They don't have a host this year. Same with last year.
They're doing the no host again.
That's so boring.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Say what you will about Ricky Gervais, but at least he made the Golden Globes entertaining.
That's fair.
The Golden Globes, it was so fun seeing them kind of squirm in their seat when he made jokes about Epstein.
Oh, no, yeah, that was tons of fun. It was just like, I get what the Oscars are, or why they're doing what they're doing, It kind of turned out this way, and they can't really help it, but,
I feel that, hopefully for next year, because I'm going to be moving by the time the next Golden Globes and the next Oscars. I'll be in a different place, and I'll probably not be working at a similar job, so I could actually live react to them with you.
Yeah, that would be nice.
We got a year for that, though. We got a year for the craziness. By the way, something I noticed, The Farewell was not nominated for anything, which I heard was kind of a snub.
That was a weird one.
Because I mean, Aquafina won for Farewell.
Yeah.
Which I heard she was actually really amazing in.
She's very good. She's a great actress.
I've seen her in Crazy Rich Asians, which I kind of liked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what she's going to do, especially because of A Farewell and shit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what happens.
But yeah, with that,
yeah.
pretty much it.
Gabe, and you have been Mike.
Yes, I have. You can find me at YouTube, Fuzhou, Fuzhou, Twitter, Fuzhou YT, with a YT at the end. I will see you next time.
Have a good night.